Hey everybody, Jeff here. Michelle and I want to ask y'all a favor. So many of you are listening to our podcasts on an Apple device, whether on your phones or computers. Even if you're not, many of you at least own a Mac or an iPhone. The favor is this. Please go to the Podcasts app if you can, find our show, and drop us a rating and review. We love what we do to put out the show, but it's a lot of hard work. More ratings and reviews on Apple Podcasts helps the show get out to more and more people, which, in addition to finding great guests for you, is one of our main goals, to share with as many folks as we can. Please do us this favor. We deeply appreciate it. Okay, on with the show.
Welcome to Gus's 21. Thank you very much.
All right.
Catch a crowd.
Yeah, it's fun. I used to have one like this, but then I moved away and back now.
Well, now, you have till the end of this month to catch Dungeness, and then you can catch the whole year. You can catch rock crab. But if they catch you after the end of this month, the fine for a Dungeness crab is $1,000 per crab.
Yeah,
So I want to put the fear in you because that's too much money.
yeah, for sure.
This episode is going to be a little different from what we typically do. It's the result of spending a few hours at the last fishing supply store in San Francisco. Gus's Discount Tackle in the outer Richmond has been owned and operated for the last 4 decades by Stephanie Scott, a fiery septuagenarian who's watched kids become adults and have families of their own. Stephanie will share the story of her father, Gus, who originally opened the store on Clement before moving it to Balboa, where it stands today. She'll also talk about her own life. Mixed in with her stories, you'll hear some of the sounds of a pretty typical day in the life of Gus's Discount Tackle. Here's Stephanie.
My dad was from Innsbruck, Austria, and his name was Gus, which is why the store bears his name. This was his store.
Innsbruck, Austria. Do you know what it was that brought him, first of all, to the
Yeah,
United
the
States?
Gestapo shooting at him as he was icing over the Alps, yes.
Okay, was he Jewish?
Yes.
Okay, so he's like, I gotta get out of here.
Yes.
And did he come first to New York? Where did he
No,
go first?
yes, he came from Austria to France, France to Portugal, got in a boat in Portugal, came to New York, and then ended up in San Francisco.
Do you know what it was after he got into New York? What it was that's like, I gotta go west to this
Yes,
place?
cousins.
He had family
Yes,
already here.
yes.
Okay. So he came, San Francisco for him came with family, friends already built in, or?
No, he came here because he got a job. His first cousin, whose name was Hugo Ernst, was president of the Bartender and Waiters Union of the United States.
Okay.
So cousin came from Austria, and my father did not speak any English, so he became a busboy at Foster's Restaurant, which was a chain in San Francisco.
Oh, what kind of food was Foster's?
You came with a tray and you picked out stuff and got it. And my father's 2 statements that he could utter in English: if somebody asked him a question, he'd say, "Just a minute," and disappear. And if somebody said something he thought they would agree with, he said, "You said it." And then he also disappeared. And those were the 2 things he could say in English.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so your dad is in San Francisco. Do you know what year it was he came here? Roughly.
I would say...
Let's pause.
Sorry.
Yeah. So about when? I'm thinking
I
late
would
30s.
say no, I would say early 40s.
Early
no,
40s.
No, after the war.
After the war.
Yes.
Got it. Okay. So
I
guess
would say what, 45? When was the war over?
the war ended in 45.
Okay, well, after that.
In early 45 in
Yes.
Europe. Yeah. Okay.
He preferred that to getting incinerated.
That's a really good choice
Plan.
that he made.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
do you-
most of his family was incinerated.
That's
So,
yeah.
yeah.
Unfortunate. I'm Jewish.
Yes.
My mom's Jewish, and we have
Yes.
some folks
His
who
father
didn't
was
make
killed
it
in
out.
Theresienstadt in a Czech concentration camp, and
Sorry
they were
to hear. What was your dad's last name?
Ernst.
Stephanie? Ernst. Sorry, you had mentioned that.
Yeah.
So Gus Ernst. Oh, yeah, it's your
Maiden
maiden name. Got
Yes.
it. Okay. So I guess I want to know when and how did he meet your mom? And was that here in San
It was
Francisco?
here. He was the sales rep of a company, and the owner talked to the parents of my mother, and
Sort of not arranged, but
No, a match.
matchmaking.
Yes.
Happened. Okay.
and she was a doctor
Your
from
mom?
Russia. Yes.
Your mom was a doctor.
Yes.
Wow. Was she already practicing?
No,
at the
she
time
didn't practice in this country because this is a foreign language. So she
Okay.
ran a lab.
Oh,
But
okay.
she was a doctor. She went to the Sorbonne in Paris. She went from Russia to China to the United States. Just every fucking bad thing you ever did. Oh,
Okay.
okay, dear.
How much?
$22.81. Thank you very much.
22?
Yes, sir.
Okay. $22.
Here.
Oh,
Great. Thank you very much.
thank you.
Thank you, sir. Here. Wait, here's your change. Thank you.
Thank you.
So we were just talking about your mom and all the things that she did. You said she worked in the lab.
Yes.
Here.
Yes.
Which lab?
Mary's Help Hospital, which is no longer in business.
Okay. And do you know what kind of research or what
No,
work
no.
she was doing?
She was working in a lab where they're testing blood with very arcane methods that they don't use anymore.
Right.
Yeah.
Did you? So what I guess the burning question for me is, which came first for your dad, this store or you?
Which came first, me or I'm talking about years. Well, he was on Clement Street before he was here. I think I came before the store.
Okay. That's okay.
Yes.
So if you came before the store, that means you grew up with this
Store.
your dad's store
Yes.
always being there,
Yes.
right? Do you know the story of, you said he was a salesman, do you know the story of how he went from that to owning...
He wanted to open his own business, so he opened one on Clement Street of general merchandise.
Clement
He was a
and-
gun rep, selling guns,
Oh.
rifles.
Okay, so he's always been in the
Sales.
sporting, but also sporting.
Yes.
Or is that fair?
No,
Sporting.
well, he was in sales,
Outdoors.
and then he opened his own business on Clement Street of general merchandise, and then he had a very tough landlord who every week raised the rent.
Mm-hmm.
So he was sitting at the Lions Club where he was a member next to the guy from Wells Fargo, and Wells Fargo's manager said to my father, "Tell him to drop dead. I'll lend you the money, buy your own building." They did that in those days.
Right. It was
and
a
he
different...
bought this building.
It was a different time in a different
Yes.
city.
Yes.
My question was going to be Clement, and do you know which cross street?
18th. It's now a Chinese bakery.
Okay. And so where did you all live? Where exactly?
In the Richmond district.
Do you,
On 17th between Lake and California.
17th Lake in California. Okay, great. And so that's where you grew up.
That's where I grew up.
Okay. You don't have to say when you were born, which would give away your age, but let's say
I'm
what
70
decade?
years old.
You're 70 on the dot?
I'm 70 years
So
old.
you're born in 51.
Yes.
Okay. What was San Francisco like in the late
Very-
50s and early 60s?
Very,
Tell us about it.
Okay, on our block, everybody played in the street with each other, the neighbors, and it was a different. You walked to school without your mother putting you on a leash like they do now, and it was great. There was on my block was every kind of nationality, ethnicity. It was never, like a white community. There were Chinese and Japanese and Russian and Italian people. It was always fun. It was great. Good place to grow up.
Awesome. Which schools did you go to?
Alamo, Presidio, Washington, and SF State.
Oh, wow. You just did the line
Yes.
all the way, and you never even for college. Did you think about leaving, or was it
Not
always just
particularly.
SF State
Yeah.
the whole way?
Yes.
I have to say, I went to SF State as well, and there's a common thread on our show. so many people either
Went to
got
SF
degrees
State.
or master's degrees, or that's a kind of common connection. So I love hearing that. But it sounds like you went to all public schools in
public schools.
San Francisco.
Yes.
Okay, and right there in the Richmond.
Right in the Richmond.
Did you, growing up, were you just in one house? Did y'all move at all? Or?
No, I've only lived in 2 houses my whole life.
Wow. Okay,
So,
we'll get
yes.
to that in a minute. I want to hear.
jeez.
I want to hear a little bit more. So, if you're born in 51, that means in the late 60s you were a teenager.
Yes, and on the debate team with a pencil protector, not what you're thinking.
So you were this straight and narrow.
Yes.
What did you think of all that stuff that was going on?
Great. You went
You're
to the
wearing
Hay-
tie dye right now.
I know. It's late in life.
Yeah.
I have 4 grandchildren. You'd go to the Hayton, watch what was going on. That didn't mean, I had a lot of friends participating, but I was
You were an observer.
nerd. I was an observer.
Yeah, debate team. You were on the debate team.
I
you
was
said?
on the speech team at Washington High School. Yes.
Okay. Did you stick with that? Did you keep doing that?
Yeah, for grad school.
Yeah. Okay. So then, as we discussed, when it came time to go to college, you didn't even have to think twice about where
to
you were gonna go.
No, that was it.
And then, so when you went
And
in,
I went to SF State for undergraduate, and then I went to graduate school, and that's where I met my husband at SF State. He went to undergraduate and graduate school there.
going back slightly before you met your husband,
Yes.
what were you studying? What was your major in?
English.
English.
Y-
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So
What did you think you wanted to do with your life?
be a teacher or a lawyer.
Oh, teacher. I see. English degree for law. I
Well,
guess is-
whatever you're going to do after. Yes.
Yeah, but you. So I'm seeing a little bit of a thread: English, speech, debate, possibly going into law. Are you a talker?
No shit.
Sounds like you're a talker. You can cuss on this show.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I got from the
But
documentary.
Yeah.
You like to talk. You didn't? Did you
Do
go?
you know what I just interject this, my late husband in here where it's all, everybody's talking about God knows what, he'd go like this to me with his finger and like, come here, and he'd go, stop talking, start breathing. Swear to God.
Okay. Well, I got that out of you.
There.
I saw that.
You can't
thread.
argue when somebody's right.
Yeah. So, do you want to talk about your husband? Is that too tough
no,
for you?
my God.
There he is.
We were married for 44 years, together for 50 years.
Wow,
How can you not talk about him? He's
congratulations.
great.
So you mentioned y'all met at SF State.
SF State.
Was it a class or a
We
social?
were in 4 classes together, actually.
Okay. And do you want to tell the story of how y'all
We
met?
were best friends. We weren't dating. We were absolutely best friends. He saw people, I saw people. We were still best friends. And then when we were both in graduate school, he actually had me hand his thesis in. And then he started coming up to San Francisco. We had not dated.
Oh, he didn't live here.
No, he was living in Carmel at the time.
Okay.
After.
Okay.
And then he came up, and one thing led to the other, and we were very successfully married for 44 years and together 50 years.
So 6 years after y'all, 6 years of friendship.
Yes.
Or so.
Yes.
And then
Yes.
okay. Okay. So this must have been now the early 70s.
We got
if
married
I'm-
in 75.
75.
And we graduated graduate school, I think we got out of graduate school in, let's see, 72, something like that.
Something early
Yeah.
70s.
Yes.
Okay. And what was, especially for you, after you said you graduated you got a master's.
Went to graduate school, and then we decided instead of going on to doctorates, both of us he was going to go to the University of Saskatchewan for
yeah.
a PhD, and I was going to go to Northwestern University, but instead
Chicago?
in Chicago.
Northwestern? Okay.
So then we decided to get married, and that was that.
So you did think about leaving for
Yes.
this long?
Oh yeah, yeah. But
What was it? It was I'm going to stay here and raise a family?
no,
or?
we just decided to stay here, and then I couldn't get employed, and he couldn't get employed, so my father, out of the goodness of his heart, hired me, and I've never left because I loved it.
So you, I'm just trying to imagine what, as a young woman who just came out of college and was even thinking about continuing your learning and then shifting course to be like, I'm going to work in my dad's store.
No, couldn't get a job. You forgot that part. Neither one of us could, you don't get liberal arts degrees, do not engender jobs.
As I know.
So he couldn't get a job. I couldn't get a job. I had an inn. My father had a store.
Mm-hmm.
So then I loved it. And then he started taking time off, and that was the end of that. Then he retired, and I did it. So I've been here 45 years. Good afternoon, Gus's.
Looks like a dog kind of treasure.
Fine, how are you? Sure. Yes? I am so
he's trying to be
sorry.
close to those.
That is
Yeah,
so
he'll be
terrible.
walking a tightrope tonight there in Cincinnati.
It is pretty bad.
Oh
my God, that's so terrible.
Osmos, thanks so much for that. And CNN's exclusive town hall event with President Joe Biden begins in about an hour. Don Lemon hosts live from Cincinnati beginning at 8 Eastern.
Oh my God. How'd you get it out? How did you get the smell out? Oh my God. I have been told in here vinegar. I would have no clue. I think they left 5 bags in your car. I can't even, you might end up having to go to a professional detailer. I'm not kidding you. That is the vilest shit on God's green earth. If I had any ideas for you, I mean, people say to me, oh, I aired out and all that. They're full of crap. I wish, dear sir, that I had something cogent to tell you, but I don't. Yeah, I'm sure it is, and I say that to everybody who buys bait. Don't leave it in your car. Oh, my God. Well, call me and let me know what comes. Anytime. Thank you.
So, you grew up, I'm sure you came to the store all the time, spent a lot of time.
Yes.
So when you go from that to working, was it a pretty easy transition?
No, because it was like my father thinks he's taking pity on the 2 dingbats who got married and don't have any money, and I was going to tell him that will not fly. I'm going to work as hard as you ever, because I don't want that thrown in my face.
Right.
Oh, poor daughter, had to support her. So
Right. Were you Dad's only employee at the time? Or?
Yes.
Okay.
And I was his only child at the time, and still. I'm the only child.
You're the only child. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. That must have been nice for him, though, to have the help.
Yeah, but it's like, poor daughter.
Yeah.
I have to support her.
Yeah.
Not a chance.
Did you like it?
Yes, I did. Surprisingly so. I've always liked it. I wouldn't still be here.
What do you like about it?
People.
What did you like?
People. The
right
stories. Yes, of course. You get soup to nuts.
Yes.
Felons and their attorneys. That's the gamut.
Okay. So in a sense, you did end up almost practicing law.
Oh no! I mean the stories. Это нельзя.
Ясно, вот такие стопора на
Нету
Алёнскую.
сейчас. Нету. Нету. Только это. Смотри. Нету.
Такое эти, что
Я понимаю,
разрезанные,
у
да?
меня нету сейчас.
We were talking about getting started working and how you loved it immediately because of the people.
Yes.
Any good stories?
Oh my God, for days. No, just
Pull one out of
no.
there.
I'm just saying, anything you can envision as far as gender, profession, education, nationality. Every language is spoken in here. Some speak English, some don't. The unifying factor is they like to go fishing. So I mean, it just is. There's the depth and breadth of humanity that come in here is fantastic. It's exactly counter Donald Trump.
Good.
There.
It's almost, in a way, it almost reminds me of a bar.
Yes, it is. It's a bar without the liquor. You got it on the head. You got it on the head. Yes.
And as a social beast.
Yes,
yourself.
people come and have coffee in here. People come and tell you they got married. People come and tell you they had babies, and people tell you all kinds of secrets because you won't tell.
And if you've been at this for, you said 45
Yes.
years?
Yes.
So you must have seen
Generations of
grow
customer,
up,
absolutely.
all, like
From this picture right here, he came in here when he was 5. Now he comes with his wife and his children. So yes, it's very anomalous.
I love that. So what year was it that your dad moved the store to here?
It's here over 60 years. So that
wow.
was, yeah.
60, around 60 or so, 1960
Yeah,
so.
in the 60s, definitely, yeah.
So when you started working, it was already in this
When
location.
yes, and when I started working was when you're little and you're on Saturday and you're stocking shelves.
Oh, okay.
Yes,
That's why I was like, your dad must have loved that part.
Yes.
Having the help.
free help.
So when you and your husband, and what was his name?
Bill.
Bill. Okay. So when you and Bill did get married,
Yes.
is that when you moved to the second place that you've ever lived?
No,
Oh.
No, the house was left to me and the house was there. So
The house you grew up in?
no,
No.
another house.
Oh, okay.
You're selling bucket for the horse neck.
Buckets to carry them in? No, just use a Home Depot bucket. You want a bucket to put them in, or you want
No,
a
no.
clam gun?
Clam.
I have them, but they're not big enough. I'll show you. Here, excuse me. Here, I'm gonna. These are too small for the horse neck. These are clam guns.
I want a big one.
I know, I don't have it.
Oh, where I can get it?
Where are you going fishing?
I'm going to Bodega.
Bodega Bay? I bet they'll have them there, because they use them there.
Yeah.
Yeah, a store in Bodega Bay will have the big clam guns.
Oh,
This is too small.
that's too small.
Yep.
So do you know the store that?
I don't. Google it up. Go Bodega Bay and, fishing.
No.
It'll tell you.
Okay.
There's good fishing there.
Yeah. Thank you.
Sure.
We were just talking about the generations that you've seen and just
Oh my God, just lovely people all the way around. I mean, the graciousness, the everybody that comes in here is a pleasure. I get one horrible person a year, and that's too much for me, but that doesn't happen. It's just they're great people. I love the people.
When do you think you decided this is what I'm going to do?
It was a fit. That's all I can say. And I had fun. And I did it myself. My husband cooked the books and everything. He was doing that end of this business. And for the last 10 years of his life, he worked in here.
Oh,
so
okay.
he not only, when he retired from his regular job, he came in with me.
Okay. And then so I guess around when or specifically when did your dad step away? And
Oh
you
my
took
God,
over?
my dad stepped away 40 years ago. He had bought a place in Calistoga and went swimming a lot.
I can see the allure of that.
Yes.
Can't you? Yeah. So 40 years ago would have been
Hello.
40 years ago would have been the 80s.
Yes.
Was it ever a question? I'm just going to take it over. Here we
No,
go.
it just happened. He decided I'm retiring, so that's it.
Was that a big deal for you at all?
No,
Or
it's just natural. I mean,
just the
I've
next
been in
step.
here my whole life. Yes.
Yeah. Do you want to talk about how the store has changed, how San Francisco has changed?
Well,
Because you've been in a unique position to watch it. This is your window.
Well, the store has changed because it was general merchandise and gravitated toward fishing due to the customers. We want more of those. We want more of those. We used to sell other things. Now all we sell is fishing.
What else did you sell?
Oh my God, he'd buy stores that went out of business, soup to nuts. Couldn't be alive, but the rest of it.
Yeah, so maybe like a hardware store, but more
And
more
other
than
things.
That. Yeah.
Just anything. He'd buy like businesses that went out, and that would be that.
So the name must not have been Discount Tackle.
No,
back
it
then.
wasn't.
What
It was
it?
Gus's.
Just Gus's.
Just Gus's.
When I found out about this place, I was like, do they know the Gus's, the food people?
This is where they started. The employee
Over
at the
here, yeah.
produce was Gus.
Not your dad.
No.
Right.
An employee over there And then he made the Gus's. He's been in here, the son, buying fishing stuff. No, they have locations, but they're not at all connected at all. But
right,
they're-
right. But you're like,
Coincidentally.
we're the other Gus's.
We're the other Gus's. We
Okay.
were here first.
What was it? What was it called? Your store?
Gus's.
Just Gus's.
Yes.
Nothing, just Gus's. And
Yes.
people just knew.
They knew.
Maybe in 5 years, maybe you'll sell something different.
No, it just evolved.
It just evolved.
Yes,
Okay.
due to demand.
And so, you were saying it was because so many people kept asking about the fishing
Yes.
gear that you decided. Was it you that made that decision, or your
Yes.
dad? You made that decision.
Yes.
So, and when was that?
I can't tell you exactly. It just gravitated. But it's
30 years ago, maybe?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. When I came in, Stephanie, you mentioned to me that y'all are the last fishing supply store here in
Yes.
San Francisco.
Yes. There used to be Modern. There used to be Triple T's. Used to be G&M Sales. Used to be Wong's Bait. Used to be, there was an abundance of them, but the rents are prohibitive. You know, there used to be a ton of them. Not a ton, but more.
Yeah. How is it, do you think, that you've been able to hang on?
I don't know.
But you're not going to
But we
question
have,
it.
No.
Yeah.
No, we have very loyal customers.
Yeah, and I would think eventually being the only one.
Yeah,
this
but
is
I mean,
where
we
everyone
still
comes.
have very loyal customers.
Yeah. So you did talk about how the store's changed. The other part of the question was, how has San Francisco changed?
I have a love. I think it's still a very great. It has a lot of issues. I have people who come in here that are tourists from all over the world due to the web. They come in, and they're very nervous in a lot of the areas of the city, and I find that very tragic. Our number one industry is tourism, and you know I'm going to be carried out feet first. I ain't leaving. I love it.
What do you love about it?
Everything that it's a big city in a small space. It's not a village. That it has every kind of person here. I feel uncomfortable in a unified. You know, I just love it. I love soup to nuts.
Yeah, you've said that a few times.
I do.
You like it all. Do you fish?
No,
Did you ever?
never.
I love it, but I'm assuming you know quite a bit about.
I would hope so, or I don't belong
of
here.
it.
Yes.
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
I have no possibility to sit in my button in one spot for any purpose.
Right, got it.
So.
Okay, the thing that I've been doing with all of our guests this year, we have a theme every year, and our theme this year is We're Still Here.
Yes.
A lot of changes in San Francisco.
Yes.
A lot of people are forced to leave. A lot of
Yes,
people are leaving
tragically so,
by
yeah.
choice. And actually, right now, we're kind of slowly, we hope, coming out of the pandemic. We've had a lot of changes, like I said. So, do you want to talk about your hopes or vision of what you want?
I hope San Francisco goes back to what you would call normal. I say in brackets, you know, it isn't.
Okay.
I just hope, because it is one of the most tolerant and it's live and let live, which everybody in the United States should be at this point in time. And this has been so divisive, the election and the pandemic and the whole 9 yards, very depressing situation. Now I hope people feel with more optimism that things go back to the way San Francisco is, which is great.
That was Stephanie Scott. On the next episode of Storied San Francisco, get to know Hip Hop for Change founder and executive director, Khafre J. Music for the podcast was produced, performed, and curated by Otis McDonald. Original photography is by Michelle Kilfeather. Aaron Lim of Bitch Talk Podcast is our contributing producer. And the show is produced and hosted by me, Jeff Hunt. Now in our 4th season, we have more than 150 episodes available on our website, storiedsf.com, or wherever you listen to podcasts. If you can, subscribe, rate, and review our show so we can reach even more folks. And if you'd like to drop us an old-fashioned email, we'd love that. The address is storiedsf@gmail.com. Thanks for listening. Stay safe, stay strong, stay healthy, and we'll see you next time.
This podcast is a proud member of the BFF.FM podcast network. Learn more at podcast.bff.fm.
BFF.FM, best frequencies forever.